completed that process. And
yes,
and basically how we see that operating is under this higher section of Rubula. We could actually go and see that status. So where we've got the status of the onboarding, it'll pull in that JW Ward at that email address on that date, completed the onboarding stage, and that's your status. If you hadn't completed it, I could resend you that invite. I could delete the invite. I could redo it, and that's how we track sort of new people coming on board. What's cool then is as you got that email, you probably would have got an email to say this is your entry when you log into the app. And you've logged into the app with that password.
Yes, that's actually, if I open up the app now on my phone, it's actually loaded as that profile.
Awesome, that's fantastic. That's exactly what we want. So there's JW Ward in our employee profile set. As you can see, your ID's pulled through there quite nicely. You've got all your address details. You've got your ID number. You've got bank details. Well, you just put cash, which is cool. You've got our employment information, so your full-time monthly pay group. You're earning 5,000 Rand per month, earning at 45 hours a week. This is when, well, your anniversary and start date. Yes. You've got no pay slips just yet because we're not going to be connected to payroll. Got some notes, so there's your onboarding declaration done. We haven't signed any contracts or anything, but we'll get to that in settings. I've got some emergency contact details. We've got some settings, that stuff that has been done. We've got one issue I can see here, but this is really payroll related. So only if the customer starts to engage with that Simple Pay program, but for some reason your income tax number is invalid. So
no, I just typed. Was I supposed to put in a proper one?
100%. But look, I don't know. Do you know it off by heart or what?
It's on my phone. You can edit it.
Okay, let's edit it. Let me just go to where's your tax information? Oh, it's under finance and payroll. Just give me a sec. Right, let's try it now. What you got there, mate?
015.
Yep.
917.
Yep.
2147.
So what you're going to notice is when I update that information, when we come back into this account, we're going to see that it's successfully synced to the payroll. So that means it now would have created this person in the Tablet POS payroll system that we've set up for Simple Pay. And look, for 9 out of 10 times, well, not 9 out of 10 times, it depends how we go in the workshop, but a lot of the time your customers, I think the majority of your customers are going to just purchase the Rubula workforce management system. There might be some customers that, oh, well, can you connect the payroll as well? And we add on and add on and add on. But for now, we're just going to focus on Rubula. What you can see is that the last successful sync was then today. If I go and have a look at, and you'll get exposed to all of these systems, etc., as we go. But if I go into Simple Pay, so where I am right now is in Simple Pay. I'm just going to go to the Tablet POS one that we set up. There it is. And what you'll notice is that if I go and search for RW, where is it now?
JW.
Oh, sorry, JW, sorry. There we go. JW Ward has been created in the payroll. Can you see that?
I see it, yes.
So then all your information has already been translated through the API into the payroll, and essentially we're ready to payroll you. So all that information's made its way through to the payroll. Oh shit, Richard's phoning me. Anyway, so all the information's made. So when we talk about a successful sync, we're referring to the information going through to the payroll. Quite cool, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so we've got our employee, he's downloaded the app, we've onboarded him successfully, we've got all his information, and from a employee master file point of view, we've got him captured. Because this person, Jason Ward, has connected to the payroll, he now has a leave balance because we connected to the payroll, so he's got a leave policy that's been allocated to him. He's got the connection to payroll, which we'll show you in a second, and he can do all the sort of payroll functions as well. Sorry, let me just go. So if I go and look at leave and unavailability, you'll notice that he's got 0.2 days leave available to him at this current point in time, and that's feeding straight from the what do you call it, the payroll itself.
All right, so that automatically starts because it's got a confirmed start date, so it starts to count.
100%, mate, against whatever the policy you've set up. You know, you get 15 days a year or whatever it may be. And we'll dive into the payroll side of things after we get through the main core of Rubler. But ultimately, the employee's there. He's ready to be rostered and he's ready to go to work. Okay. So what we're going to focus on in today's session is purely the roster side. And then we'll show you how it connects to the person arriving. So we're almost taking the person through. I'm taking you through the employee life cycle, right? We've onboarded. The guy's there. Now we want to put him to work. So we want to put him into a job. So we click on roster and we get our roster view. It's blank at the moment. There's nothing there. What you would have noticed is that in the previous week, we had some demo data that was set up in the system. Oh, was it the week before that, maybe? We had some demo data, or maybe it's been cleared for the week. Anyway. It's clear we're on a blank week, and what I'm going to show you and what I'm going to navigate you around is essentially all the different buttons and what they mean in the system, and then how we're going to go and roster Jason on a specific day individually, and then we're going to show you how we roster in volume, because that's obviously going to be quite important to see how that process typically works. So the first thing is I'll direct you around some of the navigation. So we can see this roster by employee, by location, by position, or by cost center. And you'll start to see how this works as we start to build our roster and how we can see the different views of what I can see. I can also see the roster in day, week, fortnight, or month. So I can see it if I look at it a day view. So this would be today, Monday the 23rd, and I can see all the hours of the day up till 2300 hours or sort of midnight for the following day. I can see it in a fortnight view, which is just essentially 2 weeks ahead of time, and then a monthly view, which is more sort of, can I call it scrolling in terms of the ability to see the rest of the month in a sort of scrolling format in the system as well. So you'll notice we did have some demo data on the 3rd of May. So this is the whole of May that we're looking at, and the rosters according to the whole of May. At the moment, again, we're looking at the roster in employee view, so you can see all the employee information down the left-hand side here. We can see it in location view, which is restaurant 1, back of house, front of house, location 1, or whatever it may be. In this case, everybody's at head office, and there's a few people at the sub-location as well at the top. What we can actually see as well in terms of the amount of shifts, so we've got 281 shifts across the month, and we've got 1,816 hours. If we cost this roster, which we'll show you in a minute, we'll actually see the cost button as well. And if there was forecasted sales and efficiency, those two items will also come up here as we go and as we input the data accordingly. So let's just go down to the week view again. In terms of the data we're looking at now, the 25th to the 1st of May, so I've just gone back a bit, so we've got some information that we're looking at here. We've got a couple of shifts at the head office on the Monday and the Thursday and the Wednesday. And I've got some buttons on the side here. So if I would go and click this add new shift, this will be to add an individual shift to the system. So I wanted to go and do JW Ward. I want to go and roster JW Ward, and he's in the main position. He's at a location called sublocation. He's working 9 on the 25th of the 4th till 5 p.m. on the 25th of the 4th. We're going to give this guy a 30-minute break, and we're going to save that shift. So what you'll see is that J Ward is on the main position at the sublocation on that 25th. Now what I could do, I can drag that shift. So there's drop and drag functionality. So I can drag that shift to another sublocation, or I could drag it to another location completely. So I have got various facilities to do that piece as well.
All right.
At this point in time, the little orange dot here means that it's not published. So I haven't told Jason about this. I'm busy still planning. And you'll notice there's a publish button here, and at the top right hand side there's another publish button here. This allows us to obviously inform the employee of their work that they are meant to be doing. So this is if I add one additional shift or add shift by shift by shift as I go in the roster. Now what we can also do is publish this shift. And what you should do is you should get an email in your Gmail, as well as you should get a little push notification on your mobile phone telling you that you've got a shift on the 26th of April that's just been published. Did you get that, Joe?
All right. So my cell phone rang, so I just sent it out the room for somebody else to answer it. But let's take a look at my email quickly.
Cool. Gonna have a quick squiz. You should see in your school box email, there's a little email that should have come from Rubula.
Just give me a second. I need my phone, and you must cancel that call. Okay, so let's go take a look. Yes, okay, so in my Gmail, I got it states, while it's opening. Come on, why is it taking, oh, here we go. Okay, roster updated Monday, 25 April to Sunday, 1 May.
Cool. And then you should have got a push notification on your mobile app as well.
No, let me just go to the app.
So you might have to have given the app the permission to send you notifications. You know, like if you got a Apple phone, you have to give it permission when you like download it.
Oh, okay. So I'll have to obviously set that notifications. Okay. Wait. Here we go. I see notification list. Okay, roster updated. Yes, I got that on the app.
Cool. So if you go into the application, the Rubla application, you'll actually see the, and you go back to the 26th of April, you'll actually see the roster there under your roster view. Cool.
You can see on the phone.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, Jay, is I'm actually going to unpublish this, and you'll notice the same thing happen. So you're going to get a push notification, an email to say your roster's now changed or whatever it may be.
Yeah, shift removed, yes.
Yeah, and I'm going to move you here. I'm going to drop and drag that shift to Friday the 29th, and I'm going to republish it. And this just sort of demonstrates the flexibility of changing the roster, updating the roster, and sort of notifications to the employee around that process. Which is
I can imagine that could be quite tricky if you don't plan properly, because if you're going to publish each time and then change it each time, it's going to send through a hell of a lot of notifications. And
it does.
The end user. So I suppose publish right at the end when you've done everything.
Yeah, 100%. These are for those sort of exceptional changes that you're making, or whatever it may be that you're setting up accordingly. Anyway, I'm also going to show you now. Let's say, for example, we go and put JW. So we set up another shift for JW Ward at the main position at the sub location, but we do it for that Friday, the 29th. and we save that shift. So what we've got here are 2 shifts for JF, right? And they're overlapping each other. So what you notice is there's a little red dot that comes up against the shift. So it's telling me it's overlapping with another shift. This is already published, but this one isn't published yet. So you're going to have to, so this is an unpublished shift, but you can't publish it. So you see that? Yes, so what I've effectively done is set up what we call alerts. Now, this is one of the things that Charlene's going to show you, is that you can kind of dictate what the roster from a compliance point of view can and cannot do. So can you overlap shifts with other shifts? Can you publish a shift that where the person's working more than 45 hours a week or not? So this allows your customer to govern the roster from a head office point of view. So the users are sort of, can I call it, are dictated in terms of how they build a roster, what they can and cannot do. So you can now control that from a head office point of view and not just from a Excel, you know, oh shit, you've rostered 2 people on the same day, you know, they can only work 1 shift, man, that's silly. You've now got 1 shift that's not filled. So this kind of thing can be avoided. I'm going to drag that shift to another day. Well, I'm going to unpublish the shift, and I'm going to drag, let's say, this shift to the Saturday, and all of a sudden what you'll notice is that, I'm going to move 1 across here. What you'll notice is that then it goes to that orange view, and I can go and publish those again. And again, you're going to get some notifications around your roster. And I think the point here is that it's real time. It's information specific for that employee. So ultimately what you're doing is you're managing to communicate with 300 people all individually and not sending them a copy of the roster and saying, find your name on the roster somewhere, you know, which is typically how they would do it at the moment, is take a photo of the Excel sheet and send that to a group of, you know, 200 people, and then they've all got to go and find their names and watch roster, what shift they're on, etc. Here we are sending personalized information to the person, and that does have some benefit. There's also the abilities that this person, this shift, the little turquoise color here, it means that this shift's been made available for swapping. So in other words, this shift can be swapped out by another person that can work that same position, and that can also work in that specific location, which you're going to understand location setups as well as position setups when you see Charlene. So I've got a couple of other things I could do here. I can go and copy and paste shifts. So let's say I've got a Friday and a Saturday for Jason, and I want to say, right, let's copy the 29th of May to that next week. Sorry, 29th of the 4th April to the next week, Friday the 6th, right? And I want to copy that to the 6th of May, to the 13th. Actually, sorry, I'm doing that wrong. It was the 29th and the 29th to the 6th to the 6th. And I want to bring them across as assigned shifts. So I want to give JW Ward those shifts. I can bring it across as unassigned, which will mean that, yes, it will place those 2 shifts, the same ones that Jason's working, but it will put it as a unassigned shift at that point. So let's go and copy that shift range. Sorry, start date, end date. Why is this not working? Oh, yeah, let's just do the 13th. I'm going to copy those shifts. And then if I go to the 13th of May, what I'm going to go and see is there's that shift that's published to Jason, but it's against nobody's name. So if I look at an employee, you'll see it says unassigned over here. So because I copied them as unassigned shifts. Now what I can do with this, I can go and click on the shift, and I can go and edit that shift, and then I can go and add JW Ward to it and save that shift. So really simple stuff right now that we're learning, but and then I can go and publish that shift again, right? So there we go, I published the JW Ward shift. So that's the copy and paste functionality, and obviously you can copy the rosters from the whole month, from the 1st of May to the end of May to the 1st of June to the end of June, and it will copy all the rosters across as either assigned or unassigned rosters, as we've just seen now. So you can do that in bulk as well. In terms of coloring, so you can color it by position. It just helps from a filtering point of view. So at the moment, I'm looking at by employee, but I can go and color it by position, or I can color it by location. So this sort of allows one to see all the people in the list, if this list was all the way down, and we're going to go and see that just now, and all the different color schemes, that all this color would be the head office color, and all the other items would be the other color as well. So it would be able to give you a visual view of 2 filtering options, if that makes sense. We can also then go and see the costings associated with the roster, if there are any costings associated with the roster, and or detailed totals. Now, detailed totals tells me, you know, how much, how many hours per day, as well as or some other data points that we'll see as we go. And I'm going to show you how the costings work in a minute, and we'll get a clear view on how that works once an employee is set up. I can also then see at the top here a table breakdown of all my numbers. So when I talk about all my numbers, I'm talking about, okay, what is my budgeted cost for the day? What is my budgeted hours for the day? And those are items that can be brought in via a spreadsheet or captured manually, which I'm going to show you in a second. What is my rostered cost at the moment, and what is my rostered hours? So you can see it's 7.5 hours over here. It's because we've got this one 7.45 hour shift here for Jason. If I add shifts here, obviously the numbers will increase. What's my sales forecast? So what am I predicting to sell today? And then what are my actual sales? And this line is where the Lightspeed point of sale information comes through, which we'll show you as well. My forecasted efficiency and my actual efficiency obviously right now can't be calculated because I don't have any of those other numbers in there just yet. And then my units forecast, how many tables am I serving today? 50? Or how many customers do I have today? 50? Or, you know, how many pallets am I putting through the factory? 150 or whatever it may be. And then what are my sales historical and units historical as well. So I can see what did I make on a Friday last week compared to a Friday this week. So this is almost like what we call our business intelligence data and our data set that we're looking at in terms of this view. If we had to go and look at it down to a day view point of view, we'll see that information in hours, right? So if I had to go and add a shift for this specific day to JW Ward as main position, sub-location, start and end, let's end it at 10 p.m. It's going to be way over. We'll see that whole shift for JW Ward there. Can you see that? And what you'll notice by the hour is my rostered hours per hour is 1 hour per hour. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I had 3 people working today, then there would be 3 rostered hours between 9 and 10 a.m. in the morning. Does that make sense, Joe?
Yes.
Cool. If I have to look at that by day, that rolls up to the daily view and the daily calculations that are in place for that as well. Now, I can take in some data manually. So right next to this bottom, this calendar view here, I've got this little sort of signal strength thing here. I can click this and I can add my sales forecast. So let's say for Monday, my sales forecast is 200 Rand or 2,000 Rand or 2,000 Rand every day for the whole week as a sales forecast. If I don't have the integration set up through Lightspeed, I can capture my sales. So today's sales has been 1,500. My budgeted labor cost Okay, but I only want to spend 300 Rand on labor every day. And my budgeted hours as well can be, 30 or something, whatever it may be. So this data can either be brought in via a spreadsheet as a bulk import, which you'll learn when you see Charlene, or it can be manually captured by a customer. We can also go and retrieve sales data from a previous period if we've got it, and then add a percentage if we want to what the sales forecast should be for this period, and we can just save that information. So what you'll notice is it starts to populate all these data fields at the top here. All of a sudden, I've got a forecasted efficiency. But why do I have a forecasted efficiency? Because forecasted efficiency is the division between my sales forecast and my rostered cost, which at the moment, well, my sales actual and my sales forecast. So my sales forecast and my rostered forecast will give me a forecasted efficiency ultimately for that day. Now, if we wanted to go and see costings of this employee, so we should be able to see a cost here for old JW Ward. We should see how much that shift is costing. Obviously, it's not costing correctly because we haven't put JW Ward onto a business rule. Now, I'm just going to go back to JW Ward. And I'm going to find this guy. I'm going to go and see if I can put him onto a pay rule. We don't have pay rules set up. So ultimately, this kind of thing would be set up before. I'm going to go and set up some pay types and pay rules. So I'm going to set up the first pay type called normal time. And these terms will be something that you remember. NT. I'm going to say it is a multiplier of 1 because it's, if he's earning 20 Rand an hour, then it's a multiplier of 1. And I'm going to set up another one that just says overtime. And I'm going to say this is a 1.5 times. And I also might set up a little one that says, I don't know. Well, I'll just do an allowance. I'll do an allowance, a meal allowance, let's call it, right? Because let's say the meal allowance is something like 20 Rand per shift or something like that. So you can see where I'm putting that information into the fixed amount area. Right, so now I've got a meal allowance, normal time, overtime. Now this is obviously set up before people are even rostered. And then I'm going to go and set up a pay rule, which again, you're going to be taught how to do this from that point of view. So I'm just going to add a pay rule. There are some global rules that you can just attach to any account. So if you build, we're going to probably build the BCEA rule out, and then you can just copy and paste the BCEA rule when you have new customers or whatever it may be. But I'm just going to say rule test. And I'm just going to go and build out a rule. Now, this might seem complicated in the beginning, which it is, but you'll get the hang of it as time goes on. I'm just going to say test rule, test, and I'm going to apply this rule from the 1st of May. Now I'm going to add the rules. So I'm going to say normal time. So if all timesheets are on specific days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, then I'm going to apply the category, the pay item called normal time to that timesheet. Normal time, and I'm going to make it per hour, and that's my one rule set up. Then I'm going to say overtime. So let's say overtime. If all timesheets, let's just say, we're not going to use the Saturday thing. Let's just say between certain times. So if a timesheet goes from 7 p.m. 10 p.m. in a day, then I'm going to pay the pay item overtime. It's like those if statements by hour. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to give this person a meal allowance. So we set up these global rules and then we attach people to the rules. If all timesheets happen, again, maybe between certain hours, or let's say a timesheet has, if the worked hours are over 8 hours, then the person gets a meal allowance. Meal allowance, and we're not going to pay it by hour, we're going to pay it by timesheet. So, you know, if he works 10 hours, he's going to get a meal allowance. And I'm going to save that. So now I've got my rule set. And that's there, and happy days. I'm going to go back to my employee section. And I'm actually going to go and put everybody on this rule because it's just easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everybody down the left-hand side of this section here. So that's the entire database. And I'm going to say, right, I want to modify these dudes and I want to put them on a pay rule. Let's just find the pay rule here, pay rule. I want to put them on the rule test, the one we've just created, right? And I'm going to bulk update that, and I'm going to bulk update 100 records in one shot. So now everybody's on that rule, whether it be the BCA rule, whether it be the, you know, the tablet POS specific rule, or whatever it may be. Now, I mean, I can go and expand what I see here as well. I could go and say, well, you know, show me the pay rule on this employee data set, and I can see everyone's on that rule test payroll, so everybody's there. Now, if I went back to roster, so now remember, our JW is on this payroll now, so we've attached them to that payroll. Remember, you said that this person is earning 5,000 Rand a month or something to that effect.
Yes.
It's going to go and calculate this based on that calculation. So if we go back to the roster and we go back to the time that we were rostering people, where's those shifts that we had? There they are. And we go and let's go and recost this where you've got those 3 bars here. It should now apply the costing to each of the shifts. And now every time going forward, when we roster JW Ward, it's going to cost out immediately. Let's go and have a look at that. I hope I built my rule correctly, but I think I did. Seemed like the system was a bit jammed there. Yeah, there we go. So JW Ward, this shift is costing 468 Rand. Can you see that?
I see it here on the top there.
So the breakdown is, because he's working 9 till 10 p.m., the poor guy. He's getting 1 meal allowance because he works over 8 hours, right? So there's one meal allowance of 20 bucks. His normal time is 13 hours. And because he's worked past 7 p.m. for 3 hours, he gets his overtime. How beautiful.
Fantastic.
Right. And there's his cost on this shift. So on this shift, he's not getting any overtime or meal allowance because it doesn't fit within that rule that we've created, Jay.
Yeah.
So you can see how flexible it is around that piece, right? If we go back down to the day view and we look at Jason's shift here, I can then go and grow the shift. He's going to work from 3 in the morning till 10 at night.
Wow.
It's a long shift.
You just get 1 meal allowance.
Yeah, it's still only going to get 1 meal allowance for the whole time. But you can see the calculations real time. Also, can you see what's happening here in the day view is that all my data points are changing. Can you see that?
Yes.
So I've got, you know, my forecast efficiency of 15%. It's actually 52% because now we've got JC Ward working there. We've got all our numbers starting to populate. Therefore, our efficiencies start to be displayed because now we've got the maths to do it, right? I'm going to have a look at the week view again. So now you can see a couple of those bars popping at the top here. Can you see that? So it's got this week, 2 shifts, 26 hours. The cost is 814, but we're going to make 13,500 in terms of sales. It means our efficiency rate is bloody good. It means that for every 1 rand that we make, we're only giving away 6 cents of that 1 rand to labor. So you could kind of see how, and I mean, all of the stuff's dynamic, right? So if I unpublish this and I go and delete this shift, let's go and delete this one. All of my detail will update in real time. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So it means I can plan my rosters correctly and I can plan them around, okay, if I take out this shift, what does this mean to the business? You know, how does it make it more efficient? How do I live within the budget that I've been given as a manager by my supervisor to say you need to live within a 20% efficiency rate? So you can hold them accountable for these kind of things. Okay?
Cool.
Good.
Yes.
Right, now let's go and show you how we do this in bulk. So 16th to the 22nd of May, you can see it's clean. What I'm going to go and do is I'm just going to go and populate this with a lot of data. Okay, so in Rubler, we've got a thing called sales demo data. So we're going to go and populate from the 16th to the 20, it's 23rd to 29th, right? And I want to populate clock events, so people clocking in and out, no. Expenses, no. Leave, no. Rostered shifts, yeah, we want to see rosters. Do we want timesheets? No. Sales figures, yes. Let's get some sales figures. So I'm going to go and populate that data. Now we use this for obviously sales purposes when we're trying to sell Rubler. So your customer won't have access to this feature, but you will. Right, so all of a sudden go and look at 23rd to 29th of May, and there's a whole bunch of rosters that are going to be here, and it looks a lot busier than it did before, right? So here's all the published rosters, and we can start to see a couple of things. We can start to see, we can kind of see number of shifts, number of hours, the cost. It's probably wrong. We just need to go and cost that lot again because they've only just been put onto the rule. So let's just go and get everybody working from a costing point of view. Give it a second. There we go. So some of these people don't have costs because maybe when we imported them, we didn't put a rate of pay against their name or something to that effect. But there are some here that we can see, and there's some nice data starting to flow through in terms of the system. We've got nice rostered costs. We've got, actually, let me just go and switch that. I just want to go and refresh the screen. For some reason, it's not coming through nicely. Okay, I might just check this out because maybe we've brought this in wrong, just in terms of the costing of the data. But you get the idea. I'll go and figure this out. Maybe it's just in terms of how we set it up. Data. Anyway, so you get a good view of the idea. Now I've got a whole bunch of employees here. I can see Adrian's working 33 hours, Alison 37, Anisha 30. I can go and look at this by location. So how much is my total location budget? How many people are working at my total location? So head office is obviously quite busy. The majority of people are through there. And there's obviously a sub-location as well that's got shifts, and I can go and see totals for the day. I can go and see totals for the week. in total, and totals by the hour as well. So, down to, I've got, 66 people working in total, but I've got 42 at this location called head office. And then if we went down a bit further to the sub location, we'll see there's another 24 shifts there as well. So sort of a wealth of data that we can look at. The filter button next to this, just before we go on to that, I can also see it in a graph breakdown, and the graph breakdown sort of just gives me a visual view of my 3 lines, which is my forecasted, my actual, and my cost. So it can kind of give you a view of how things are trailing along. So in this case, my sales is above my manpower cost for the majority of the time in the day. The only time it starts to equal off is by the middle of the day, and then it goes down again. So this is a well-run little operation if this is how it worked in real life. If I go and have a look at it down to the day, we'll start to see this in the day. So here's my sales forecast line, the green one. It's always above my manpower cost. You can see the manpower cost starts when the shifts start, and it tapers off towards the end of the day. But my sales carry on all the way through the evening. So this is a great little business to be involved in, profitable from what it looks like. So that gives you the graph view as well. I can also have filters. So I can tell me all the people that are on leave as well. So by clicking that, I'll be able to see people that are on leave, and we'll show you how that works in a little while. I can also go and if I wanted to filter the roster by, I don't want to show me all the published shifts, not the unpublished shifts, or show me all the unpublished shifts but not the published shifts. So it would just show me the ones I need to actually push that button on, right?
Yes.
I could go and filter it by shifts with alerts. So, I might have a roster of 400 or 500 lines, but I don't really want to know anything other than show me the ones that have got alerts attached to them. So those are my exceptions. So people that have been over rostered or over planned or whatever it may be. Just show me the ones with alerts. And there's nothing with alerts just yet in the roster, because actually the way the roster's been built, it's governed by smart roster, so it's not allowing any alerts to actually be done. I'm going to get into that in a second. Just going to switch all these puppies back on. So the busy, there's another little section here called busy. Now, busy is only really relevant for people that have access to only one location. So let's say the manager, I was the manager of the sub location, right? I would want to see where other people are working. So in other words, this is probably a bad example, but if Tad Franklin, this individual here, was working on Tuesday at the head office, right? I would want to see that I can't use him for Tuesday, because at the moment it's telling me he's got a gap on Tuesday I can roster him for. But with that busy token on, if he was working in our head office, you would see it grayed out over here to say, sorry, you can't give him Tuesday because he's already got something else at another location in the business. Right, so let's go and take you on to the next part. So we've discussed all the navigation. There's a few sub features here that I want to show you. So under this little asterisk bar here, you've got these 3 little dots here. You've got a few functions. I'm going to show you all of them as we go. So the first is I can unassign everybody. So if I've gone and allocated people to shifts and I want to go and unassign it, I can go and unassign the whole roster. So it'll take everybody's name off it, unpublish them, and now, it will effectively, it should unassign the location. Hold on, let's just go back. So if we look at employee, it should all be unassigned at this specific juncture. Why is it still assigned? Okay, I probably needed to. Oh, might just need to refresh that tab. We've got a couple of little funnies, Jay, with refreshing. Those are being worked through at the moment in terms of the UI, but some refreshing issues like, you perform a command and then you just have to refresh the screen. They're little niggles, but I think it's because these are all published. That's why I can't unassign it. So I can clear the roster from the scratch. So if I clear the roster, it'll clear everything out from what I'm looking at. So if I'm looking at the day view, it will clear out what I'm looking at on the day view. If I'm looking at it by a sub-location, it will clear it out from the sub-location point of view. So it's whatever I'm looking at the moment, I can actually clear or unassign in that space. I can obviously cost the rostering, I can export it, and I can print it. So go and have a go when you get into that, but you can go and export it into an Excel sheet, or you can go and print it and put it on the staff canteen for everybody to see, right? So there's those features as well. Then there's what we call templates, right? Now, templates are essentially pre-built rosters that can populate into a roster. So I'm just going to show you how we build a few templates. So let's say we want to create a new template and we want to call it the test template. And we want to do it for, I don't know, 1 day. We can do it for 7 days if we want, but let's just do it for 1 day. And we want this template to be available at the whole company. So company-wide, but we can have a template for a specific location if we wanted to. So now it builds my little template. There's my 1 day, day 1, and my shift template. Now this is typically used when we have a situation of, on a Monday, you need 4 waiters in the morning, and you need 3 of this and 2 of that, whatever it is, right? You can pre-build these things. So I'm going to say, in the main position at the head office location, I need 3 main positions. So 3 cooks, if you want to call it that. They must all start on day 1. They must start, they're going to work a shift from, let's call it 8 till 5 p.m. They're going to each have a 30-minute break. All right. And I'm going to say save. So can you see it creates those four shifts there? I'm going to have another one. Again, main position. Now, it'll be good when we start to show you how to add positions and add locations and those things. At the sub location, this is a demand-based roster. Now, what is demand-based roster? Demand-based means I'm going to link the amount of shifts that I need to a unit of demand. So in other words, I've got a hotel group, and at the Marine Parade Hotel in Durban, I've got 50 rooms. But for each 12 rooms, I need 1 housekeeper. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's a ratio of whatever it is to whatever it is. So my minimum shifts is 1 because I always need 1 cleaner, and my maximum is 20, right? Because I can only have so many staff on a site. And this is 1 to 12. So in other words, for every 12 units I have, I'm going to have 1 additional cleaner. Make sense?
Yes.
9 to 5. Cool. So I've got a demand-based roster and I've got a normal template roster as well, combined together. Right, let's go back to the roster. So that's all saved automatically. Now I'm going to say, all right, we're going to plan for Monday. We're going to plan for Monday the 23rd, right? Which is today. But anyway, I'm going to take this. I'm going to go to templates. Can you see that template there?
Yes.
Right. I'm going to take that template and I'm going to apply it to Monday the 23rd. And how many hotel rooms have I got full tonight? 120. So the system will automatically plot the shifts that you need to do 120 rooms in the cleaning and in the cook and in the whatever space it is. Can you see all those shifts that have been put down on the left-hand side there?
Yeah.
Cool, hey?
Yes.
And there's another part to this that's even cooler, but anyway, I'm going to get to there. Anyway, so there's all my shifts that need to be filled. Now, what can I do? I can go and say, all right, let's go and add Jason to this one. JW Ward, right? I want to allocate JW to that. Okay, then he's going to cost $237. Okay, let's go and allocate another guy. Now this could take forever, right? You don't want to do that. So what you can do is you can let the system do the walking.
Okay.
That's cheesy, like the yellow pages. Anyway.
The last time I heard that.
It's not inside, it's on top. Okay, so what I can go and do is I can go and let the system run. Who's the best person to fill these shifts? Now remember, what have we got in the system? We've got all these people in the system. We know where they can work, what position they can work. We know how much they're getting paid. We've got their entire database, right? So why can't the system go and match an available shift with a person? Because it's got all the information it needs. It knows when this person's on leave. It knows, that this person can work in that location, but not in this location. It knows that this person is not the CEO, he's a cook. So he gets a cook shift. So what we can go and do here is use what we call smart rostering. So when I push this button, system's going into the database. It's looking at all available options and it's allocating people automatically to that roster. Can you see that?
Yes.
So I'm just going to get rid of this table because it's a bit too big for the screen. But there, all of a sudden, the system's done the walking. So what would have taken me 2 hours to figure out, is Jared available for that Monday shift, has taken the system a couple of seconds because it knows when he's on leave, when he can work, how he can work, that he mustn't go over 40 hours in the week. And it's taking all of those considerations into play. And it's saying, this is your best roster for the day. So maximum efficiency there, right? If I don't want Jared to have a shift, I can say, oh, well, look, great thinking, but nah, we don't need that shift. And we can just delete it. Or we can move it and say, let's give it to somebody else rather, or let's swap this shift around with that person. But ultimately, the system does the first hit at building the roster, which should effectively save you time, money, and effort. And then all I would need to do is go and publish that roster. I'm happy with that. Let's go for it. And JW Ward gets his little notification for his roster for the week, and Bob's your auntie. The shifts are finalized and published. Don't know why. Sorry, caught it a bit slow.
Your network issues.
Yeah, up and down. Like. I don't know why it didn't publish. Let me just see. Let me just publish these shifts again. There we go. Might have just been a break in the network, something like that.
I got it.
You got it? Been told about it? Fantastic. That's great. So in the ability of Smart Roster, and you'll learn how this is created through alerts on Thursday and Friday. We're going to talk about standard hours in a minute. We've talked about templates and how we build them. A apply sales demand templates, which I'm going to get into in a second. We know how to clear, we know how to unassign all, we know how to cost, export and print out of those features. Now let's just go and, for example, I'm just trying to think how I show this to you. Okay. Let's say JW Ward is a full-time employee, and JW Ward just works Monday to Friday, every day, and he's not like sort of a rostered employee, if you want to call him that, right? What we can go to is go to JD Ward's account, and we can go and issue him with standard hours. Standard hours basically mean the regular hours of this employee going forward. So you could say that this employee works on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The Monday he works in head office. Wednesday might go to sublocation. Thursday might go to head office. Friday might go to sublocation. In a position of main position, but he could work in maybe different positions throughout the course of the week. Right, this person is working from 9 to 5. He's got a 30-minute or 24-minute break. And that's his standard hours. I want to apply them from today, and I want to lock these hours into his roster. Right, I'm going to save that. So this guy's now got standard hours. So if I've got a whole bunch of permanent full-time employees, as a roster manager, what I might do is next week, I would say, right, first let me go and add all my standard hours for all employees. And you'll see it automatically drops JW Ward standard hours into the roster there, Monday to Friday, 7.6 hours a day. And then I might go and take my template for my casual staff. And I might say, right, apply this to the 23rd. All right. Oh, sorry, no, the 30th. And my demand for, I've only got, 20 rooms. And then let me apply the Tuesday one, the 1st of June maybe, or sorry, 31st of May. And let's say I've got 1 room. And let's say the next one, I've got, 200 rooms for the 1st of June. So I've got my, I've got my whole roster done quite quickly. All my standard hours, which I know who the people are going to work every day, without a shadow of a doubt, they're rostered every day. And then I've got all my casual staff that I need to fill, push my smart roster, let the system do the walking, and all of a sudden I've got a built roster for my whole employee, well, my whole roster base for the week. It takes a bit of time. Think about the amount of maths that it's doing around standard hours, who's available, who's on leave, who can work in what position, who can work at what location, and it issues those shifts accordingly to those people. There's my roster. I can go and drag it, move that shift to there. Let's go and move this shift to here. Let's go and give this one hours over there. Let's go and drag that shift there. Let's go and delete this guy. We don't need this guy. And as I'm going through, it's obviously updating all my hours and my business intelligence as I go. And then publish the rosters. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
So that's standard hours, which we do use quite a lot of in South Africa, specifically for your full-time staff. And then templates we've done. Apply demand-based rostering. Okay. Here's a cool thing that we've just launched. Okay. So we know, now follow me, because could be tricky. So we've got a sales forecast. Agreed? A sales forecast is what I'm gonna sell for the day. So think of a QSR restaurant. So KFC, right? KFC franchise, little branch somewhere, wherever it is. At certain rates of so during the day, they make a certain amount of revenue, right? And that certain amount of revenue equates to how much staff they need for that day. So when a business like a KFC reaches a certain level of revenue, they need to add a shift. So in other words, a good example of this is a KFC that we're currently rolling out. When they reach 3,000 rands worth of revenue, they need to add another cook to the grill. Okay. And when they get to 12,000, they need to add another cook. But it's not exactly at the same hour. It's sometime later in the day, or it's over lunch, or whatever it may be. Okay. So this is what, and you're the first person to see this because it's only going live on Wednesday. We now have the ability to track that forecasted revenue into actual demand for labor. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the right screen up here. Just give me a sec, Joe.
Cool.
So when I'm trying to do too many things with my PC, it starts going but tilt. Okay, here we go. So similar to the way we built templates that I showed you how we build these different templates, we go and build a demand-based template on sales forecast, right? So I'm going to go into system here, and I'm going to go and to my template, just like I did before. And I'm going to go and create a template. Again, KFC test, or whatever it is. It's for one day, and it's company-wide. Right, so I build my little template. I'm going to say, right, now, I want, this template is for cooks at the grill location, right? Mm-hmm. And the restaurant, well, the actual store opens at 8 a.m. in the morning and closes at 10 p.m. Each person needs a 30-minute break within their shift at some point. And is this a demand-based template? Yes. It's not just a ratio, but it might be a steps. So a hurdle rate, they call it in the QSR or restaurant space. So the steps are 0. So 0 rand. I still need one cook to open the store, right? 3,000. So 3,000 is the first cook. Then when I hit 8,000, I need another one. And then when I hit 12,000, I need another one. And then when I hit 20,000, I need another one, right? Okay. The minimum shift length is 4 hours because you can only, you can't send people home after 1 hour if your revenue dips. You have to keep them for a minimum amount of hours. And the maximum shift is 8. And you know what? Yes, I might hit 3,000 rand at 10 o'clock in the morning, but I can't have the guy arrive at 10 o'clock in the morning because we need to be cooking burgers. So he needs to come in 15 minutes before that shift. Before we hit that money, he needs to come in 15 minutes before. And then we save and we build that template, right? So what's going to happen, and I'm going to show you this in your account, is that we're going to build some data per day. So in the day, I'm going to bring in data. Now, if you can think about the example I've just given you now, that sales forecast line, this one here, right? The sales forecast line. Picture this. Picture this with the different rand per hour that's coming into the business, forecasted. So let's say this between this time and this time. So from, let's say from 8 till 9, there's 84 rand. And then from 9 till 10, there might be 3,000 rand that you're making. Then 10 till 11, you might make 5,000 rand, right? And then from 11 to 12, you might make 8,000 rand. Now, considering our steps, when we drop that template, it would say that we need one cook here at the beginning of the opening shift. We need another cook between 10 and 11. And then we need another cook at 12. Does that make sense? And it will build the roster for you in accordance with your predicted sales income. Cool, right?
Absolutely.
So what we're trying to do for the customers is make their life really easy with predictable outcomes from the roster. So, you know, based on my revenue, this is how many people I need, and this is, instead of someone going on an Excel sheet and trying to figure this all out, letting the system drive the compliance, number one, but number two, enabling efficiency through the system, having all the data points that it does. It knows who can work in this job. It knows where they can work. It knows if they're on leave or not. It knows a whole bunch of stuff that, yes, a manager might know, but the manager's working at snail's pace, where this is working at rocket speed. So that's the apply sales demand templates. And look, we just got to release that last piece of the functionality that showed you in the development instance that we've got, but that will be coming on Wednesday this week in terms of a release to the market. So that one will be there. And when you apply the sales template, it will be, okay, apply that test template to today with all our monies in it, and it will go and have a look at those sales lines and say, well, this person, you know, it's not going to drop any additional shifts because we don't actually have any. We do have sales forecast, so it might have actually just dropped one additional one. I didn't see what it actually did there. Let's actually just go and clear this. I'd be keen to see if this piece works. Don't think it will though. Ugh, come now, man. I think I'm trying to push the system. It might do it. Yeah, okay. It's applied my ratio template 1 to 50 under those numbers. But anyway, you get the idea, hey, Jay?
I do.
I think the real benefit here comes to the customer in terms of, you know, driving the templates, etc. So the last part that I want to show you is the key area, and that's obviously unpublished, available, with requests, so that's swapping, with alerts, that's a problem, and then our holidays will be populated in here as well, and you'll see how that how the public holidays, the whole roster looks like a different color on that specific day, just to indicate that it's a public holiday for that specific day.
I'm with you.
Yeah, good. I see you put in an unavailability there.
I was playing.
No, you must play. Yeah, lekker. So can you see that? I mean, now I know I can't really roster you on Thursday or Friday because you're unavailable. It's great.
It seems that somebody approved my leave.
Well, I think what we did with the unavailability is we auto-approved it.
Okay.
So you can set it as an auto-approval. You'll learn all these settings when you're with Charlene. But, think about it. A casual worker, you can't actually tell him when he can be available or not. He's a casual worker. He's a full-time employed with you, right? So when he is available, he will work for you. So J.W. Ward might be a casual employee, right? And he's put in unavailability, which means he's at university on Thursday and Friday. Well, he can't work for you as a waiter, but you can go and book him on Wednesday. Does that concept make sense to you?
Yes,
Rick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's all I really wanted to go through with you in terms of the navigation on the roster. What I'd like you to go and do in the meantime for today, homework if you want to call it that,
yes,
is to go and build a few templates, go and play around. I'm going to, in the meantime, add 2 more positions for you and 2 more locations for you, right?
Okay.
And actually to do that, it's quite simple. Actually, if you want to go and do it, it's up to you. You just go to management settings and then just type in positions and say edit positions. And let's just go and add a few more because there's only one. So let's go and say cook, right?
Yes.
And we're going to say cook. We're going to be a company-wide permission. Let's leave all that the way it is. We don't need to get too complicated just yet. And we want to go and add a bartender. Company-wide. Cool. That's good. Got 2 more positions. And let me go and add a couple more locations for you. So we've got head office and we've got sub-location. Let's call it back of house. And it's a South African account. Parent is the head office. Oh, let's say the parent is sub-location, because maybe sub-location is the restaurant, and then front of house and back of house is the even sub-location from there. So South Africa, don't worry about that. Service location, don't worry about that. We're going to say number 3. It is a rosterable location and a reportable location. You'll learn about, this is what Charlene's coming to explain to you. Yo, having some network issues here. I'm going to say front of house. I'm going to say the parent location is that restaurant again. Leave that. Say 4. Oh, didn't make that one. So now I should have 4 locations here after I've added those 2. Let's have a quick squiz. Come on. There they are. 4 locations. Now, the top of the screen here, can you see I've got a couple more things? Yes. I've got the head office, I've got the restaurant. So maybe we want to go and rename that to Steers or whatever it is. And then back of house, front of house. So go and do me a favor for the balance of today. Just go build yourself a few rosters. Go and clear some stuff out. If you want to go and clear this information out, go and clear it. Go and practice how you can add a roster for yourself, and then maybe go and build a template, and maybe build like a 2-day template. So build a 2-day template and call it Jason or something. We can always rename these things. Yes, and then go and build that with maybe some different positions, some different locations. and then go back to the roster, go and dump that template and see how it functions.
Okay.
Good. That
Cool.
concludes us today, Jay.
Thank you so much.
Cool. I'm going to be putting these videos all into like a library for you as well.
Perfect.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Cool. Enjoy the afternoon.
You too, mate. Cheers.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.